The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
And I'll tell you a story that happened with me many, many years ago in Eretz Yisrael. It was the sweetest, stinging rebuke I ever got in my life. It was days before Ben Azmanim, in many, many yeshivas, days before Ben Azmanim, people start to maybe play a little fast and furious and not be so careful with keeping the Siddharim. And myself and a bunch of friends, we actually went ahead. This was in Eretz Yisrael. We were learning the Mir at the time. And this man was already shvach, it was after Purim already, and it was before Rosh Chodesh. After Purim, a lot of the Americans have left back to America already. And things were kind of shvach. And somehow my friends and I, we decided that we had a perfect opportunity to be able to get a car at a very cheap rate. And basically we went to, if I remember correctly, it was the Golan Heights. We went to the Golan Heights on a trip. It was after Purim already. It was shvach, but it was before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. To make a long story short, we were away for a few days. We come back to yeshiva, and I guess the Anhola found out about it. I personally was asked through a messenger by Reb Nachum Partzovich, Zechet Tzaddik V'Kadosh Livracha, the great Reb Nachum, to come see him. And I knew that this was trouble. He had taken a bit of responsibility for me because it was at his recommendation that I came to the Mir. I met him when he was visiting America in 1970. And he invited me to come to the Mir at that point. So when I went to the Mir, my father thought I was a little young. I guess Reb Nachum reassured him that it would be okay for me to go. And I went because of that. So maybe he felt responsibility. So when he found out I did something that was quite wrong, no better way to say it, he had me come to see him. Fine. So I went in to see him. And of course, before I went to see him, I went ahead and I learned up whatever they were learning in Shir. I was in a Shir at the time. I learned up the Shir, and I learned up the Gemara, Rashi, Tosfos, learned up the Farshim. I tried to research what he said in Shir, what he has said 7 years ago, in the previous Machzor in Shir, to try to come in and sound intelligent when I went in to speak to him. I went in, he started talking to me and learning, and I was very well prepared, Chazdei Hashem. And when I first came in, his face was not happy to see me. And as we were talking and learning, and I was presenting, and he got happier and happier, and he was smiling. At the very end, he gave me the ultimate backhanded compliment. And he said, Rabbi Yerachmiel, I see when you do have a desire, you can learn. I will tell you something. That was perhaps the best teichach I ever got in my life. I'll remember it for as long as I live. I remember the exact words that he said, the accent with which he said it, the smile with which he said it, and it will never ever leave me. But how did he do it? He did it in a beautiful way.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org